Hey, welcome back everybody to the Renatus InvestEdge. My name is Jay Stark. It is my pleasure and my honor to welcome you to our call today. I want to extend a very special welcome to those of you that are here for the first time. This call is designed to bring to you information that is relevant to today's investing landscape. We bring out practitioners, people who are out there making money in today's real estate market, and then they're going to share their tips and tricks. And today we have an unprecedented opportunity. So before we get into who we've got on the call, I want to introduce you to the host for the remainder of the call. He is the founder and CEO of Renatus, an individual that has been my pleasure to work for more than 14 years. We're coming up on our 15th year together. Oh, that's a long time. Anyway, I am so excited. He's an individual who guides and leads the company with a moral and an ethical center that truly makes it a privilege and an honor to get to serve with him, to lead with him, and to work for him. So join me in welcoming out to the call the founder, the CEO, Mr. Bob Snyder.
Man, I'll tell you what, I appreciate it, Jay. It's always good to be here with you, and I'm excited for our guest today. You guys, they're going to rock your world. They really will. But you know what? I do have to ask something. It's for me, a call is like this, or if you're younger, a call is like this, right? You know, I mean, it's kind of like, isn't this more of a show? It's a show, isn't it?
I called it a call, didn't I?
Yeah. You've.
It was really
I'm just kind of curious. I just didn't know how you defined call versus show.
Right before we got started, Bob decided to start leaning into his bad dad joke repertoire, and you can tell he hasn't come out quite yet.
I haven't come out, man. I mean, I'm still kind of in that little bit of a jokester mood, but I am thrilled that we have this time together. Listen, we've got a great couple on the show with us today, and they're going to share with you some of their tips and tricks and some of the things that they've been able to do in real estate that will absolutely blow your mind. They're also going to talk a little bit about, the life they're able to enjoy, because the fact that we have them here in the studio and that we're not interviewing them from the Great Wall of China or from
Peru.
Yes, I mean from Peru, or where they just got back, right, or from one of the tropical destinations around the world, or from Fiji or whatever, is pretty remarkable, honestly. So we're fortunate to have him in the studio with us, man, and I just want to just help you guys understand a little bit about them. I mean, this is a couple that not only are a huge part of the Renatus community, but they apply what we teach in a very sophisticated, very deliberate, and very systematic way. And they're going to share some of that knowledge and information with you today so that you guys can, cut the learning curve and go out there and get better results. So in the studio, we've got Nate and Becky Lambert with us today.
Woo-hoo!
I mean, this is like a dynamic couple. Sometimes we hold them up as the poster children for Renatus because they've done such an outstanding job. I've just got to ask, I mean, Nate, when you found Renatus, how much working knowledge did you have of creative real estate?
Almost zero.
Almost zero. So you've come a long way since then, haven't you? It's been pretty impressive. And I've just got to ask too, I mean, Becky, now this is kind of an interesting dynamic because when you found Renatus, you already had many, many years being a commercial lender and being involved in the commercial world of real estate, as well as single family, right?
Correct. I had been investing in single family real estate. At the time I found Renatus, I'd probably been investing about 18 years.
Okay, right on. So newbie investor, seasoned investor, but today I would call you both more than seasoned. You are experienced and successful in this wonderful world. Practitioners, yes, I would refer to them that way. It's pretty awesome. Do me a favor, help get everybody better acquainted with your story. What led you here, what you've learned, what you've experienced, and some of the cool things that you guys are doing to set the world on fire.
That's a great question, Bob. So I was a professor at Brigham Young University. I thought that was my dream job. And then I really got bored. I'm like, oh, man, this is like I'm sitting all by myself writing these articles that nobody really reads or cares about. And I'm like, there's got to be something else. So I started listening to all the books I could find on building wealth. And guess what they all told me to do? Invest.
Right.
Real estate.
Yes.
Real estate. So I'm like, okay. So I started, listening to some of the gurus, joined some of those groups, and it just wasn't going well. It was tough. It was like they're like the circus. They come into town, they give you a good show for a few days, and then out they go, and you're like have a 1-800 number with someone that doesn't really even have real estate experience.
Right.
And so then, I got introduced to Renatus, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like having a community of people to work with. And so, I got started with you guys. This was back in 2014. So it's been about 11 years now. And it was like, man, things just lit up. And since then, we started doing flips, did some rentals, did some short-term rentals, and I've just done all these different classes. And then and the classes were so helpful to get me that knowledge and the skills, and to be able to write it all off on my taxes. I was like, with bonus depreciation, it was like, wow. And then, I decided to go ahead and venture into commercial real estate. And right around that time, my life exploded once more, and my former wife made some very drastic changes in her life, and I was left by myself with 5 kids, 5 boys to take care of all by myself. And I always thank Renatus every day, because it was the Renatus community and just the passive income that I'd created through all my rentals, that I was able to survive that and give them the kind of love and attention that they needed during that difficult time of life.
It was pretty spectacular to be able to see, how you emerged from that. I mean, because that was 2 years just hunkered down, taking care of your boys, and you're able to put a lot of your business on kind of autopilot at that point.
Put the business on autopilot, and then, I used the marketing skills that you taught me to build for events. The dating apps weren't very favorable to someone who's 5'3". And so I used Facebook groups and Facebook and advertise, and that's actually, I started the single LDS entrepreneur group, and that's how I met Becky. I invited her. It was actually almost exactly 3 years ago that we met in my backyard. I had 120 people show up, thanks to all the good marketing skills you taught me.
120 people show up. Yeah. Man, that is
They
so
were
fantastic.
mostly women, for the record.
Isn't that interesting? Yes. Well, his marketing skills have been honed. Yes.
They were honed. He knew what his market audience was. He knew what he was looking for. And I walked in there and thought, wow, there's an awful lot of women that are entrepreneurs, according to this group, the single LDS entrepreneurs.
That's right. Yep. And man, I was so thrilled, when you were able to introduce me the first time to Becky. That was such a blessing, because I could just see how she was transforming your world.
Oh man, so much. So, aside from her being, such a blessing to my kids, I mean, one of the things that was really attractive is we started talking real estate right out the gate, and it was like, I had started making some moves toward commercial real estate, but I was nervous about it because, the deal analysis is a lot more complex, and there's a lot more that can go wrong. And so she was telling me about her role as a commercial banker for so many years.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this person, she had a lot of residential experience. We had real estate portfolios around the same size. And I was like, so I knew she wasn't after me for my money.
I already had plenty of that on my own.
Yeah, she made it as a single mom. And with that kind of analytic skills that she brought to the table, I'm like, wow, we could kick some butt together in commercial real estate, because I was listening to Bridger Pennington's classes.
Right.
I was learning how to raise capital, and that's what I decided, this is what I want to do. Mm-hmm. And she had and I have that marketing skill, but she had the analytics skill. And so it was kind of a real estate match made in heaven.
It was real estate. Man, isn't it nice that there's a side benefit that you guys actually fell in love?
And then you like each other.
It wasn't because we always say, you don't fall in love with the deal. You fall in love with the numbers. Or excuse me, you don't fall in love with the property, you fall in love with the deal. But you guys actually fell in love with each other. Side benefit. So now you're this power couple and you're doing amazing things. What are you working on right now?
Oh, commercial real estate all the way.
Uh-huh.
I will admit, I think the moment I realized this might be the man I want to marry was when he started talking about bonus depreciation to me. It wasn't even our first date. It was like a group date. There were a whole bunch of other people. We were at like a dinner, and he started talking about bonus depreciation. And people say stuff like, I had a lot of dates where, like, guys, I'm an investor. And when you dive in and find out they own their own home, That's it. I'm like, that
That's
doesn't
it.
count as investing. I'm sorry, that's your primary residence. You can't even write that off on your taxes.
Right.
Not with the bonus depreciation benefits. So he started talking about bonus depreciation. I started grilling him a little bit. When I saw that he knew what he was talking about because of Renatus education, I was totally sold.
Man, not just building family, but now we're building families.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah, we kind of would joke that, I married her for the bonus depreciation. Like she hadn't used that. She hadn't had that education yet. So got to bonus depreciate some of her rental properties. And now she jokes back and says that I could never divorce her because then I'd have to pay all this recapture tax.
Which is true. It's
Yes.
somewhat a joke, but kind of serious.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
This is a good thing
So
I
you
love
guys-
her so much. Right? Could be a big tax there.
there is no out. That's right, man. Burn the boats.
We burn the boats.
Make it happen. Yes. So, have you taken advantage of the cost segregation on that as well?
Oh, absolutely. Like that's what the cost segregation is for bonus depreciation. So when I met Nate, I had a bunch of properties that I had never used bonus depreciation on because, as you know, you have to have 750 hours per year as an active investor. And as a commercial lender, and a single mom, I couldn't fit in another 750 hours. And I loved what I was doing at the bank. Although truthfully, I was making more in real estate than I was at the bank. I should have left it years before. I just liked the people. So when I met Nate, we talked about how I have all these properties that hadn't been bonus depreciated. I don't think we've even finished using all my properties yet.
Yeah.
Although I think this year is the year we knew we had to because we're picking up a bunch of commercial properties for bonus depreciation benefits. And because, Bob, right now, real estate is really hot in the multifamily market. If you're in the right markets, it's like the gold rush of real estate investing at this very moment. What I love about real estate is, and the reason why it's so important to get educated is, before I met Nate, I was investing in real estate. I was buying single family homes. I had mastered the art of the house hack.
Yeah.
You buy a house, you live in it for a year and a day, and then you rent it out again. And I had picked up like 12 houses doing that. Loved it. It was such a fun strategy. I don't know if my kids loved it, I'll be honest. Moving every year or so, I think they got tired of that. But I kept telling them, hey, we're going to save so much money. I'll take on a trip anywhere in the world you want. And so we went on lots of fun vacations as a family in exchange for continuing the house hack. But I became really good at one trick.
Yeah.
I was a one-trick pony, and that's all I knew how to do. I turned up so many houses that I could have bought at really great discounts because it didn't fit my one trick. That's all I knew how to do. And with the time constraints that I had as a single mom and working as many hours as I was working, that's all I felt like I was able to do. Whereas with Nate, it's opened my mind to so many other options going through the classes with Renatus on, okay, here's how I could have structured all of those projects and made them work. I should never have turned down on them. It's not just about making money in real estate. It's about understanding the opportunity costs of what you're giving up by not doing real estate and by not finding what you're capable of doing outside of that one trick. Just because you've done one trick doesn't mean that's the only one that works.
Right.
Guess what? I'm not house hacking at all right now. First of all, because we have 8 kids and it's pretty hard to house hack into something big enough for that.
Thank goodness. I wouldn't let her.
No.
That's right.
Not to mention the 3 kids I brought into our family did flat out ask Nate when we got engaged. They're like, so are you going to make us move after this house? Are we going to turn this into rental and move again? He said, no, this is our long-term house. And that's when they all gave permission
They could
for me
settle
to marry
in.
him.
They were okay. They were making it happen. Okay, there's a few things I want to make sure we get clarification on. First of all, we started talking about bonus depreciation.
Yeah.
Explain the concept of bonus depreciation, because that's another thing that is really enhanced with the big, beautiful bill.
Oh, absolutely. We're all very excited about that benefit. So bonus depreciation, Bob, is where the government basically they want to, when they want to stimulate the economy, they'll give some depreciation benefits for you to buy something. Typically in the past it was equipment like a forklift or something of that nature. They extended it out to include real estate many, many years ago. But with bonus depreciation, it allows you to write off the assets that are less than 20-year useful life, usually 15 and below, can all be written off in the first year, or a good chunk of them, all of them in the 5-year asset life. So basically, when you buy an asset for your business, the IRS lets you write it off over a certain period of time. So like if you get a computer, it's 5 years. You take the cost, divide it by 5 years. If I don't know exactly what all of the individuals are because I'm not an accountant. I don't specialize in that. But basically, if it's a 10-year property, you divide it by 10 and you get that much that you write off each year. If it's a house, like a residential house that you do not live in, it has to be an investment property. You get to write that off over 27 and a half years. Why a half? Because it's the government, who knows? 27 and a half. But if it's a commercial property, it's 39 years.
Right.
Well, what bonus depreciation does, because that depreciation benefit alone is one of the reasons why a lot of people invest in real estate, is it gives you a chance to write down your income legally and not pay as much in taxes. I know a ton of people who are really successful in their business who invest in real estate just to drop down their income, their taxable income. Now, what bonus depreciation does is it kind of takes that and puts it on steroids, where everything that's less than 5 years or less, you can write it all off in the first year. Everything that's 10-year property, I can't remember if it's there's a good chunk of that you get to write off in the first year, and everything that's 15-year property, there's a good chunk of that. Consult with the tax accountant who specializes in cost segregation study on the exact numbers, because ultimately you can only do this if you have a accountant that specializes in cost segregation, do a cost segregation study and give you the exact number of how much you can write off. But you get to write a whole bunch more off in your first year. How this works, Bob, is you buy a house that you're going to rent out, and the cost segregation company will go in and say, okay, 40,000 of this purchase price is attributed to flooring, which is a 5-year property. X dollars is attributed to ceiling fans, light fixtures, things like that are 5-year property. This is the amount that's attributed to decks and things that are more of 10-year property. They break it out by what's in the property, your appliances, your flooring, your all that, your blinds, all that stuff, and say, okay, I know you paid $400,000 for this house, but 89,000 of it is actually 5 or 10-year property, so you can write off on your taxes X dollars. And it typically works out, Nate, what would we decide?
It's about 25%. So you buy a $400,000 property, you got a $100,000 write-off.
Right.
And here's the cool bonus to this is that you, even though you write down your income, when you go to get a loan, you get to count that back. They count it back. So it's like having your cake and eat it too.
It's a non-cash expense. No joke. Banks add it back. So this is the way you write down your income and not disqualify yourself from qualifying for loans.
Right.
It's the best kept secret. I always tell people, if your accountant tries to expense something, fire them and go to somebody else. You should be expensing as little as you can possibly get away with expensing, and you should be depreciating everything you can depreciate.
Man, that is sound advice. That is fantastic. You also mentioned, as we were kind of starting our discussion here, that that you live in your home, you're house hacking a year and a day.
That's not accidental, Bob.
I know. Give us the backstory on that.
Because if you read your loan documents, you have to sign on there that you agree, if you're buying it as an owner-occupied property, you agree that you are planning to live in it for more than a year. So in my case, it's exactly 1 day more than a year. It is. I met the requirements that I signed and agreed to. And it's well known in the investment community. A year and 1 day is the requirement. After that, you can buy another property and move into it. And the first one, you keep that mortgage in place as an owner-occupied mortgage for the next 29 years of the mortgage, if that's what you've got set up, and keep it as a rental. I still have a bunch of houses in my portfolio that are owner-occupied financing. One of them's at like a 2.9% interest rate. It's a duplex.
Right.
One of them, I have a fourplex that it's like at, I think it's like 2.19% fixed for 30 years.
Isn't that insane?
Because I lived in it for a year and a day. But this man saw through the fact that I was living in a 2-bedroom, 2-bath fourplex when he married me, knowing that this was an investment decision. I'm not out there trying to show people that I have money. Quite frankly, I didn't want to attract any more men who wanted me for my money. I had plenty of those already.
Yes, and the nice thing about it is, again, you married for love.
Yes, I did marry for love.
But you guys are very deliberate in all that you do. So talk to us a little bit about that. You're migrating from single family. You've done wholesaling, fix and flip. I mean, buy and holds, all the stuff in a single family, realm. And now with the expertise that you've got over here, you guys are leaning into commercial properties. What are you guys looking at?
Yeah.
Multifamily.
That's what we're doing right at the moment. But when I got started, I'm like, I had an opportunity to invest in a development project.
Yeah.
Out in North Carolina, we ended up doing 3 projects with this team, and we've developed 12 lots that we're about to put on the market. and 12 single family homes, luxury homes by the beach that are designed. They were built for short-term rentals. We've been out there together a couple times.
They're
just
gorgeous,
beautiful.
Bob.
Yeah.
Private swimming pools, just gorgeous.
Right.
And the most exciting thing is, even though it was a pretty rough time 2 years ago to buy or do commercial real estate, but because of the way we selected land and all that, we were able to create about $12 million in equity across these 3 projects for our investors. So even though interest rates made it so we can't distribute things like really well as well as we'd hoped, but a lot of other properties are doing capital calls and it's a rough time, but we have all this equity that we're sitting on, so it worked out quite well.
So everybody's happy. They're doing a little land banking there, and they're all coming out well. Why is it the commercial property, especially multifamily, has become attractive this time?
Well, what I like about multifamily is it takes the joy of a fix and flip and it multiplies it by about 1,000. So you can fix and flip a home and, make $20,000, and that's really exciting. You can fix and flip a multifamily property and make $2 million, $3, $4, $5 million. And those are not astronomical numbers. Those are pretty standard numbers. I've seen 20 million pretty regularly as well.
Yep.
And with the commercial, it takes the fix and flip that you learn on a single family scale, and it allows you to nail it with the residential and then scale it on the commercial side. And the cool thing with commercial is it's not just about fixing up the property and figuring out what the ARV, which is your after repair value. On the commercial side, it's about fixing the financial statements, raising the rents, reducing the expenses, and then watching the market to hit the ideal cap rate, because your cap rate is really what determines the sales price of the property. It's your net operating income, or your NOI, divided by the cap rate. So if you time the market right, I've seen investors multiple times, and I've worked with them on it, where they literally just went in, reduced the expenses on the property because the previous owner had so much nepotism in there, it was like embarrassing.
Right.
Reduced the expenses, cut out employees they didn't need, fixed a few things, put in like a few more tenants, but not a ton, and made $2 million in 9 months. These are very real things in the real estate world, in the commercial side.
That's the beauty of it, man.
Yeah, and 3 years ago, Bob, the cap rates were so low, which isn't good, right? That means you're buying at the top of the market. And now the cap rates have gone up a lot, which makes it ripe for the picking. And in addition to that working in our favor is you've got only about 35% of people can even afford a mortgage in this climate. So it's like one of the lowest ever because of all the inflation. So there's a lot more demand for multifamily.
Well, and I think we're still about 2.4 million homes short in this country of what individuals need as far as housing goes. And listen, anybody watching this is going to be able to relate, because I don't care what city you drive into, you're going to see multifamily
going up everywhere.
Yeah, new builds all over the place.
So
housing shortage.
Can I ask a question real quick? Because you guys have talked about cap rate a couple of times. Can you explain cap rate in as simple of terms as possible so that everybody can understand?
I'd love to. So your cap rate, it's short for capitalization rate. Basically, it's the rate that the investors expect to get paid on their project, which you would think is an easy, I want a high cap rate. Well, the challenge with it is it's really driven by the market. So in the single family home, if I'm going to flip a property, you look at all the comparable properties in the area and you look at what they're selling for on a per square foot basis. Now, the key is making sure they're actually comparables, and that's a whole nother skill set to learn how to identify truly comparable properties versus, I wish those were comparable, but it's really not.
Right.
That's a different skill set. On the commercial side, it actually has nothing to do with the price per square foot.
Right.
Like, you don't even look at it. It's all about the income on the property divided by the cap rate. And the cap rate is determined by the market of what the investors in the area are paying for it. So on the residential side, the interest rate on your home is set by the government, basically by the mortgage industry, and it's pretty much standard. Your cap rate, there is some fluctuations in it, and it's not set by the government. It's what the comfort level of the investors in the area are willing to pay for these projects. So 4 or 5 years ago, when interest rates on the commercial side were in the high 3s, low 4%, people were paying ridiculous cap rates to buy properties. They were buying properties at like low 3%. I even saw some in the high 2% range cap rates.
Wow.
Which, for people who don't understand, a 1% difference in a cap rate is drastic, especially the larger the project. So, and I wish I'd brought a slide I could actually show you, but basically if your net income on the property is like net operating income is like $3 million, a change in the cap rate of 1% will change your sales price by about $2 million.
Wow.
It's a drastic change. You can increase the value of the property by raising the rents and reducing the expenses. That's the one that you have in your power to control. That's the one you should be controlling. The other piece to commercial real estate is you need to be watching the market. If there's some pretty strong indicators that the market's going to go down, that's not the time to buy, because that means you're paying top dollar to sell it at fire sale prices, essentially.
Right.
And that's what the cap rate's determined by. The interesting thing that makes this kind of the gold rush of the commercial world in the multifamily space right now, and this is not on every market in the U.S., there are certain markets that have been much more hard hit than others.
Yeah.
That's where we're investing in right now. But what makes this interesting is when interest rates were on the commercial side, were in the low fours, high 3% range in, say, around 2020, 2021, a bunch of investors were out buying properties. There were a lot of builds going on.
Yeah.
New builds going on. And they were these investors expecting that when the construction is done in 24, 36 months, they're going to be able to fix the loan at 3.5%, 4% interest rates. Well, by the time the construction finished, interest rates are now in the 7s
Right.
on a commercial loan. All of a sudden, these projects that were so amazing initially don't pencil. And they're becoming graded loans with the bank, which means the project doesn't pencil. They're becoming graded loans with the bank before they even start leasing brand new buildings. So this is complicated, but it's important because it helps you understand why this is the gold rush of multifamily. So you have all these construction projects that are all of a sudden coming to a screeching halt.
Right.
Because they don't pencil before they're even finished. And the government looked at it and said, okay, we got to figure out how to fix this. This is a big problem. We can't really adjust interest rates because there's a lot of factors that go into that. We don't have a long enough podcast to go into that. But they're like, okay, so what would we do? How do we fix this? So the government started offering only in the commercial space. So if you haven't heard of this, that's okay. A lot of our people on the call probably haven't heard this. They started offering these Freddie Mac loans on a commercial side that, I don't know if you've heard of this before, Bob. It's called an adjustable rate mortgage, an ARM. Do you remember how this panned out last time? Okay, so spoiler alert, it kind of pans out about the same way.
Yeah, don't tell me that they're also going with a no doc situation.
Oh.
No, thankfully there was no doc situations. But Freddie Mac started offering on the commercial side an adjustable rate mortgage for commercial properties, specifically multifamily, because that's where it was really getting hard hurt, where you could get a mortgage on the property that was fixed, say, for 18 or 24 months in like the high 2% range, and then it adjusts to like prime plus 1%. And a lot of the investors thought, well, by the time it adjusts in 24 months, interest rates are going to be back in the 3% range. This 5% range, this 6% range, it's unheard of throughout all of history. We're never going to go to 5% range again, which is obviously short-term investors, because if you have ever looked at it, your average interest rate over the last 30 years is closer to 10.
Oh, listen, I mean,
When
my
you include the 80s.
my first home, I mean, I was fortunate to be able to get it locked at 12%. That's for a 30-year fixed mortgage. 12%.
Most of us call that a credit card.
Yeah, we would call it a credit card. Of course, that's when you could go down to your local bank and you could actually get 10 to 11% interest on your checking account, your savings account.
Right.
So, things have changed a little bit. I have perspective because I've been in the game for a while, and I still view 4%, 5%, 6%, even 7% loans as on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bob, the nice thing about this is it really created the perfect environment. These interest rates just going up so fast just put such a squeeze on these people that were short-term thinkers and weren't really being very educated in how they purchased. And so, for example, we're just about to close on a 452 unit complex in San Antonio. and we got it for an $11.3 million discount.
Wow.
From what
No
it sold
Because
for
of
in
all these
2021.
factors.
Really?
Wow.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, a lot of these Sunbelt markets are experiencing a 20-30% decline.
In
We're
value.
buying it for $40 million. That's
37 million is the purchase price on that
is
one.
the purchase price, but yeah,
Huge discounts.
That is outstanding.
So what happened was those Freddie Mac loans we were talking about, they were intended to be just for people who had a project that was already in the process of being built, to be a short-term solution. But what happened was a bunch of investors came running in, picking up property at rock bottom cap rates and overpaying for projects. Because, if I'm in a 3% range on an interest rate or a 4% range on an interest rate, even if it's only for 24 months, I can afford to pick up this property at the great, great price, thinking, wow, this cash flow is so great. Well, it did cash flow really great for about 24 months.
Right.
And then the piper came to call.
Yeah.
And you have all of these projects that are needing huge amounts of cash just to make them work each year, to make the payments, that don't pencil. And so a lot of the investors held on to them as long as they could. They fed it with their own cash flow from other projects or from their own income sources.
investors' capital calls.
Investors, lots of investor capital calls. So a lot of people who invested in commercial projects between 2020 and 2024 have had to do a lot of capital calls, and they're kind of burnt out
Right.
of the multifamily or any form of commercial real estate.
They're motivated sellers.
They're motivated sellers.
They are
That's what we
motivated
look
sellers.
for. So that's what's happened, Bob, is a bunch of these people have run out of money, and they're just selling them at rock bottom prices to get them off their balance sheet because they can't make the payments on the debt. Because those adjustable rate mortgages, I don't know if you guys remember how this pans out, but if you don't learn nothing from this podcast, listen to me on this. An adjustable rate mortgage should be treated much like a hard money loan. It has a time and a purpose. It is not a long-term solution, ever.
Right.
And you should never buy a property banking on interest rates going down. We call
Never.
that gambling.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's not real estate investing, it's gambling.
Right. Yes. Speculation is the politically correct term in real estate investing, but
Correct.
gambling is the more accurate.
Accurate.
Yeah.
That's right.
When everything is beyond your control and you have no ability to actually affect the outcome, that's gambling.
Yeah,
Yes.
no doubt. Man, so now you're just sweeping in,
Yeah,
with great opportunity to take a look at projects and be able to get them. Now, there's a lot of folks that are checking this thing out. And they're going, "Holy smokes, that's a great number." I mean,
It is.
11 point whatever it is million discount, but it's still $36 million or whatever the number was on that thing. And for a lot of folks, they're going, "Yeah, well, it takes money to make money. That's out of reach. I don't have $36 million laying around."
Well, you're
What do you
in
say
luck.
to those
You
folks?
can invest with somebody. It's called a syndication. We do
Imagine that.
syndications. So like on that exact project, the minimum investment, we can talk about it because it's already done.
Right.
The minimum investment was $75,000. And a lot of people, like when you run the numbers of the cash flow,
Yeah.
you can see that $75,000 is actually not that much for a project that has all the bones of like knocking it out of the ballpark. It was well below market rents, not being well maintained, picking it up at a discount, great area with a ton of growth. Like the city we picked it up in is the 7th fastest growing city in America.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, everything about this makes sense. And the reason I knew it was a good deal, besides from all the numbers, is I had 4 different people tell me, multifamily is really scary right now. You shouldn't be investing in it. That's when I run to invest in it. When everybody else is scared, that's when I run forward. When everybody says, oh, you should be picking up multifamily in this market, if everyone starts talking about that, you've already missed the curve. You're too late.
Yeah.
And Bob, I mean, one of the other best ways to raise the value is by obviously raising the rents. And Becky and I, it's really important to us to really carefully vet every property that we
Right.
invest other people's money in, right?
And our own money in too,
and
by the
our
way.
own money. Yeah, we put our own money in it as well. And so we flew out to San Antonio, had a little couples trip, and
It was very romantic.
very romantic walking through the ghetto. No, it wasn't a bad neighborhood, but we noticed that this property had not been well managed.
Yeah.
Which is another great sign in multifamily, right? You're like, oh man, the trash everywhere, weeds. I mean, stuff that wasn't that hard to fix and remedy.
Right.
And we're
huge.
like, oh my gosh, this is get a good property management company in here. We can
Clean up the yard.
We looked at the other projects nearby. We walked those, pretended to be secret shoppers, and like, hey, we're just moving to the area and would love to run a place. We didn't disclose that we had 8 kids, Because
they would never show us anything.
We'd be like, what are you talking about?
And because we're not moving there anyway.
But anyway, and so we found out that there was a potential 20 to 30% increase in rents.
Wow.
These comparable properties, Bob, right next door.
Yeah.
And right across the street. This is not like 3 miles down the road. These are right there. And they're getting 20 to 30% more in rents than this property. But this property has 3 swimming pools, and the property manager hasn't cleaned them, so they look green.
Oh, my goodness.
But the inspection report says they're in perfect operating order. They just need to be cleaned.
Right.
Well, who do you think you're going to attract as a tenant that wants a swimming pool that looks green?
Yeah. Not the kind of tenant that you really want to rent.
Yeah,
No.
exactly. One
So
of
it's pretty
4
easy fix.
swings on the playground working,
Listen, I've
Just
always
easy
found
fix.
that your property has a personality and attracts a different type of tenant, the personality of a tenant. And if you've got a trashy property that's not been well maintained, then the individuals you rent to are generally going to bring with them a lot of problems.
Yep.
If you've got a nice property, then it's going to attract individuals that are more along those lines of responsible, rent-paying individuals. So it sounds to me like, you hit a home run on this deal. I can't wait to see how that, kind of unfolds as time goes on.
Can I backtrack real quick for 1 second? So you've demonstrated the importance of understanding what the cap rate is. How do you determine what the cap rate is?
Good question. You need to talk to experienced commercial lenders that lend in that specific asset class, because the cap rate on storage units is going to be different than the cap rate on multifamily, which is different than office, retail, warehouse, aircraft hangars. Yes, that's a commercial investment thing. It's a pretty cool one, by the way. One of these days I'll teach you that one. There's different cap rates in every different market. And the reason why is because there are different risks involved with it. On a retail center, you usually have people that sign a lease for 10 years and they're multinational companies. So your cap rate's different than like multifamily. That's going to be usually a 12-month lease, and on any given day, 1/12 of all of your tenants are moving out or potentially moving out this month because their leases are expiring.
Right.
So there's a different cap rate on all of them. You're going to talk to experienced commercial lenders. You're going to talk to experienced appraisers in that particular area. Talk to experienced investors, but just know that more often than not, they're going to give you a wrong cap rate number because they want to sell their property to you. So go to the outside sources, your appraisers, your commercial lenders who know this area. Funny enough, ChatGPT is quite accurate.
Is it?
Really?
I
It's a
have
good way
found
to
it to be
start.
very good starting ground, a good starting ground.
Definitely ask
talk
other
to the other
people, but-
experienced lenders and appraisers in the area. And you know what? Most commercial appraisers are going to charge you a small fee to give you that information. Just remember, that's the bread and butter of their business.
Right.
Don't be stingy with them. Go ahead and pay them. You want them on your side. So they're giving you accurate information so you're not overpaying for a property. Because if you're only off by 0.25%, that might be $250,000, $50,000, or no, $250,000 or $500,000.
Right.
Is it worth paying the appraiser $500 to give me the good cap rate numbers?
Right.
Absolutely.
So if the cash flows are down, that obviously impacts the net operating income, which also impacts the price.
Right.
And the cap rate, because it's all about that investor return. But when you take a look at a property like that, and you're going, okay, this property has, the pools are not cleaned, the grounds have not been well kept, the lawn is burned up, the trees are dying. I mean, you've got landscaping issues and things of that nature. Can you influence an appraisal on that property so that they actually give you a better number based on all of the things that need to be fixed, repaired, and improved?
Not only can you, but Bob, even on the residential side, you need to remember you are the only one who can advocate for you. When the bank orders an appraisal, this is true on residential and on commercial. When your lender orders the appraisal, they are not allowed by federal law to talk to the appraiser until the appraisal is back in hand. So if you think they're going to advocate for you, you're wrong, because they can't. Their hands are tied. The appraiser is going to come to you, especially on the commercial side, and they're going to ask you for all of the numbers so they can run the numbers. That's your chance to show them the numbers, show them all the comparable properties you've already found, because they're looking for comparables too, and you want them to find the ones you found.
Yes.
Not one that they did 12 months ago on a different property that's 3 miles down the road, but it's easier because it's already done. Show them what you've got. Advocate for yourself. This is true in a lot of aspects of life, but don't wait for somebody else to advocate for you. You be your own best advocate. Give them all the resources they need so that they can see why this project is a killer project, just like you can. On the residential side, you do have the chance to talk to them, and you can show them the comparables. Some of them will listen to you, and some of them will kind of ignore you and do their own thing. But on the residential side, the appraisal, for the most part, is just kind of a check of the box. It almost always magically comes in at the purchase price. Shh, don't tell my appraiser friends I said that. But it's true.
But it does.
It's true.
It does.
There's only a handful of times when it comes in less, and that's fabulous for you. It gives you a chance to go back and negotiate down the purchase price.
But isn't that because
the
they have this underlying belief that the value of the property is what somebody's willing to pay for it?
Correct.
And because they operate off of that belief, they modify their numbers to equal that number. So that's the reason why it comes in at whatever you're willing to pay for the darn thing.
And on the commercial side, it usually comes in pretty close to that as well. And the reason why is A, you're under contract to sell it to them for that price. But B, if I'm buying it for $37 million and the appraisal says it's worth $41 million, the bank is excited. Now the seller's going to try and find every reason to get out of it.
Yes.
So it does usually come in, but it's not uncommon on the commercial side for the appraised value to come in less than what you're purchasing, and for you to try to go back and negotiate, and the seller says, no, thank you, I've got other people. There's less of a window for negotiation on price on the commercial side, but there is a lot more space for negotiation on repairs, because those repairs may not be $3,000 or $4,000. They might be $300,000 or $400,000 in just like plumbing alone. So you've got a lot of window on that on the commercial side. But on the commercial side, advocate for yourself. Give them, they're going to you to get the documents. If you give them half-hearted documents, they'll give you a half-hearted appraisal, but they won't charge you a half-hearted price.
So we're climbing up towards the top of the hour.
Holy
it's quarter
smokes.
two right now.
Sorry.
Time has gone fast. This has been awesome.
A great conversation, and the way you guys have explained the different aspects, especially of commercial. And I love how you said you really need to advocate for yourself. That is so true. And as you said, in so many facets of life, not just on behalf of an appraisal, but absolutely. For everybody who's with us online live right now, if you have any questions that you'd like to ask to Nate and Becky, go ahead and put those in the comments, and we will get to them just as quickly as we can. We've got several people that were excited to see you on the call. In fact, somebody got so excited about what you were talking about that they said that it sounds like a crazy Ponzi aftermath documentary, what you guys are talking about. And it's like, you know what? I can see where they're coming from on that for sure. But I would love for you guys, what would be some advice that you would give to somebody who's maybe checking out Renatus for the very first time? They're on the call for the very first time. What kind of advice would you give to them right now?
I would say you got to just take action. There is a lot of people are like, no, this isn't a good time. And like Becky said, that is the time to jump in and invest.
Right.
So, when one person is scared and running away, you run toward it.
Yeah. Well, and you know what?
Action.
My observation for the last, how long have I been in business now? 45 something years. But in all of that time, it's been my observation that the masses, meaning, the general population, always wait until an opportunity becomes self-evident before they will ever jump in. And by the time they do that, the opportunity is past. It's gone.
That's what I was saying earlier. If everyone says you should be investing in, and they'll give you a specific market, by the time you hear that a lot, you're already too late. You've missed your window.
Yes, you have.
And the other thing I would say is it's all the most valuable real estate is the 6 inches between your ears. And I mean, I gained so much from the classes, from the education program. And even now, I mean, I with Bridger Pennington's class, that was hugely impactful.
On building and creating a fund. Yeah.
Yeah. And we now are fund managers, so it's it's so exciting. We can do multiple deals. In fact, Becky's probably going to be flying out tonight to go check out another commercial project that we just. Oh my goodness! She spent a day analyzing it, and the numbers look so good that this time she's going to try it on her own.
That's awesome. As we're transitioning here, do me a favor and unplug your device really quick. Aaron's not able to see your screen. Unplug the HDMI as well from the port or from the dock. So not to put too fine a point on it, but it sounds like you guys really are advocating that individuals find a community, get educated, and then take action. Sounds like those are really the keystones to getting started in the most, I want to say the safest way, but really in the way that's going to be as beneficial as possible for people.
Absolutely. I think too many people think, well, I'm going to jump into this as soon as I learn enough that I'm no longer afraid. Well, that'll happen on your deathbed.
Right. Yeah.
If you're waiting till you're no longer afraid to do something, you're never going to do anything. And that's in general in life.
Yeah.
like you have to find a community of people who are succeeding at doing what you want to do and learn from them and grow with them. And you need to jump in and run the numbers and find people you can run the numbers with over and over again. Practice on their deals, practice on your own deals until you find a deal that works. And if you have to put in 500 offers before you get one accepted, so what? That was 499 practice rounds. At this point, you shouldn't be afraid to put in an offer anymore. You've gotten really good at it. Every single time you put in an offer and get rejected, it's a learning experience. Every single time you're moving one step forward, even if it scares you, and it's helping you to become comfortable with the process of learning and growing.
Right.
I've looked at commercial real estate deals for years. I've wanted to do quite a few, but a lot of the numbers didn't make sense as well. So I was in the residential side for years. One of the benefits I would say definitely with getting educated on real estate, like we talked about a little bit earlier, is learn how to do it all so that you can pivot when one market isn't working.
Right.
So like I fixed and flipped for a while because I loved it. The owner occupied house hack seemed to work really, really well. And then interest rates went up enough that didn't really make sense. And that's okay because I had enough at that point. I wasn't really that worried about it. But be able to pivot to where it is working, because real estate always works, but not every caveat of real estate always works in every single market. So don't be afraid to pivot to where it is working and to the aspect of real estate that is working, whether that's long-term rentals, fix and flipping, short-term rentals, midterm rentals, or any of the avenues of commercial, office, retail, warehouse, multifamily, aircraft hangars, railroad spurs, although those don't usually work as much anymore, but whatever aspect of commercial you want. There's storage units, there's tons out there.
Right.
Find what's working and run with it.
That's awesome.
Man, you guys are just, like I said, they're a power couple.
Yeah, absolutely. The wealth of experience, even the recommendations that you're giving for individuals, it doesn't matter where they're at in their investing careers. You have given advice and nuggets for everyone. So thank you. Thank you for what you've shared. Thank you for being here today. This has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been great.
We want to really help people learn this stuff. We want to help you guys be successful. That's what community is all about.
Well, it is, man. And that's why the Renatus community rocks, man. That
exactly.
That is. And we so appreciate that. And I also wanted to make mention too, I mean, because I'm going to do a little promotion here on our E3 Summit that's coming up, because I got to talk about not only the E3 Summit, but I also want to make sure that everybody knows that you have just been added as instructors at the E3 Summit. You're going to be up there sharing, some of your wit and wisdom with the group as well. It's going to be fantastic. Now, listen, this is coming up October 23rd through the 25th of this year, 2025. It's going to be at the Salt Lake Sheraton, and we have got an all-star cast. You just got an opportunity to hear from two of them. I mean, I don't know what better endorsement you have for being in those seats attending this event. But, one of our instructors, just want to make a plug for Garrett Gunderson. I mean, Garrett is he is an immense talent, and his skill stack is so deep when it comes to finance, business, real estate. He knows it forward and backwards. Anyway, he's a best-selling New York Times author. He's done so many different things. Matter of fact, in the world of financial planning, I think they use his book on the Rockefellers as kind of their go-to source for a lot of different information. But it's going to be fun to have Garrett there. And not only that, but he is such a great speaker, man. He will have you engaged from start to finish. Yes. Also, we've just added Mitch and Maylee Nelson to the docket as well. I mean, and this is a power couple. They've done over 250 different real estate transactions. They absolutely have crushed it. They've done so many incredible things. They also are experts in the wonderful world of social media, Amazon best-selling authors. They're going to be there with us as well. And then we've got Mr. Jeff Armstrong. Listen, you want to understand about being the bank. I mean, he is so good at seller finance notes. He's had 23, 24 years now experience in that world, and he's one of the foremost authorities in the country on this. Jeff's going to be there. Altogether, we've got 30-plus practitioner instructors and financial experts, market leaders, social media experts. They're all going to be there, and that 3 days is going to be power-packed. You do not want to miss it. So how do you get registered? It's pretty simple. You see that little QR code on your screen right now, or the link that's right there. You can get all the details. You can go in and get registered. Right now, I mean, the seats are cheap. We're in a pre-sale situation. In other words, this is the early bird discount period of time at $149. If you want to jump into the VIP seating, that's $500.
It might be $197.
Is it $197? I thought
it's $197 for the early bird.
Thank you for correcting me on that, because we've gone back and forth on too many numbers and I can't remember them all the time.
I totally get it.
Okay, so it might be 199 and 197. 197. All I know is that, man, we really put our heads together on trying to make this thing as power packed and transformative as possible with the least amount of dollars spent for each participant.
I love how you are really demonstrating for everybody just how much money you're trying to save them by discounting the price as quickly as you possibly can.
Yes, and thank you for correcting me on that, too.
But I just need to make sure that we let everybody know that when you go to register, expect to pay $197. That is our early bird discount if you get registered right now.
It is. And just go get it registered. It's on the screen. It's there and available.
And you're going to have an opportunity to learn from individuals like Nate and Becky. They are just 2 of the 30 plus presenters. Man, I almost messed up those words.
Yes.
The 30 plus presenters that we're going to have over those 3 days. I have seen similar outings where people are saying, "Oh, we're going to have all this material, all these presenters, and it's going to be over a day or 2 days, and they're charging $5,000 for it." And in reality, it's just a sell-a-thon, right? You got a bunch of people selling their own thing from the front of the stage. These individuals that are going to be presenting on our stage are all focused on one thing and one thing only, and that is giving nuts and bolts education to every single participant in attendance. So get your tickets. You will not regret it.
You don't want to miss this, man. So with that, I mean, it's going to be great to see you guys there training as well as all the other instructors. We're thrilled about that. I can't thank you enough for being here in the studio with us. This has been fun. It's nice when we get folks to come into the studio rather than just doing it, streamed over the internet. It's a different connection, a different dynamic.
Oh yeah, the vibe is a whole lot better. I love it.
Yeah, and I wish we had another hour to just glean from you because you guys have both done so many things.
I think what you're really saying is we need to have them back.
I was thinking that. I absolutely was thinking that. We've got to have you back. So if we extend the invite, will you come?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Excellent. We just extended the invite.
Okay, good.
Now we'll just need to work out
Invite
the
accepted.
dates.
We'll book a time and we can continue this conversation because it was absolutely excellent. Now, I've got a few housekeeping items for everybody there too, so that you guys understand that our corporate offices, for the folks inside of our community, we're going to be closed on July 24th. Why, you might say? Because in the state of Utah, that's Pioneer Day.
Yes,
and
it is.
The July 24th holiday and celebration is just about as big as the 4th of July.
It's like having
holiday
a
and
second
celebration.
4th of July.
It is. We get 2 of them back to back in the month of July. It is. We just party till we drop. It's pretty cool. It really is. So the offices will be closed on the 24th. That's this Thursday, but we'll be back reopened on Friday. So, not to worry about that. Also, just wanted to give you an update on some of our course catalogs. We continue to make sure that our information is accurate and relevant. And our course catalog is a compilation of all of our different classes, all the different things that we market and we sell here in Renatus, the things that we have to help sustain our students in their quest for domination in the real estate market.
You keep adding courses to our catalog. We have to update the catalog.
I do. I'm telling you, we really do. We've got over 90 full-day classes right now and 42 practitioner instructors, and it just keeps growing. And I'm sitting here and I'm listening to Nate and Becky, and I'm going, wow.
Maybe that's going to go up by a couple more.
We're going to have a conversation about that. And then another thing that we do on a regular basis is we highlight and showcase individuals who are just knocking it out of the park. And we've got another Renatus review that we just wanted to highlight, which is available for community members in your back office, in your Helios account. Go in and check out Scott and Sue Buchholz's story because it's a powerful reminder of what real estate can do for you and what this education has done for so many. And just kind of a last thing to end on is here, a reminder that, if home is where your heart is, shouldn't your business be there too? And that's what Renatus is all about. Whether you're a part-time investor, you're a full-time investor, you're making the transition, man, we want to make sure that it gives you freedom of choice, that it gives you financial flexibility so that you can do what you want, when you want, with whom you want. And we have done that today. Nate and Becky, thanks again for being our special guests. This has been a rockin' hour. I can't wait for the next one because we're going to get it on the calendar. Until then, good day and God bless everybody.